It's a momentary eternal echo.
All right, there we go. I think we got it.
All right, excellent.
All right, let's give it a second to see if the people watching can hear us.
It's good. There's audio.
That's promising.
Okay. So this is our February 13th, 2024 Anime Twin Cities board meeting, and we will call the meeting to order. I guess the first thing on the agenda was to recap the off-cycle board action, of which was my election as president. So yay! This is me running my first meeting, so we're learning. Everyone's learning, and everyone's going to be nice. How I work.
Excellent.
Then the second thing is the open session. So if anyone has anything they want to bring up during open session, now is the time.
I think it would be helpful, just a suggestion during the board meetings, to just at the start of every meeting do an intro of everyone who's here and your position. Just like, because since we're going to be posting about it, there's going to be people who don't know who everybody is here. Just an idea.
Okay. I'll start. We'll do popcorn style like I'm at work. So I am Christina, and I am the new president for Anime Twin Cities, and I'll popcorn it over to Allie.
I am Allie, member at large. Let's do buttons.
Hey, I'm Buttons. I'm a member at large, and since it was Brittany's idea, I'm going to popcorn it over to Brittany.
I'm Brittany. I'm a social media coordinator. We have 2 additional coordinator roles open that are still active on the Facebook page if anyone in the audience is willing or interested to apply, because then we can get a lot more happening with this organization. And I will popcorn over to Troy.
Hello, I'm Troy McDonald. I'm the Anime Detour Coordinator, which is the chairman role of Anime Detour. I'll popcorn to Bruce.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bruce Levine. I am one of the board members at large. And I guess send it over to Alyssa.
Hi, I'm Alyssa, and yeah, I'm one of the board members at large. Kristen?
Hello, I'm Kristen. I'm also a board member at large. And then the last person is Nick.
Yes.
Hey, I'm Nick Nelson, and I'm the secretary. That's it.
Okay. So, no one has brought anything up in chat yet. Jeez. For open session, so I think they're probably good. Did anyone on the board want to bring anything up in open session? Okay, Bruce's hand is raised.
Also checking as well. Is my audio level a little bit higher now?
Yes.
Better. Much better.
Okay. A second here. The one motion, or not motion, but the one topic I do want to bring up is for, at least for consideration after 2024 cycle, we need to take a serious look and do a reevaluation and update of the bylaws. Because if I looked at the site the last update was March 2021. I printed through it, and truth be told, we need to do quite a bit. But in the meantime as well, for a previous business item as well, I did also bring up the fact of the creation of an ethics officer role.
Samantha is saying she can't hear you.
You're audible. You're
fine.
audible. It's just that every once in a while when you twist your chair, it just scoots from the mic a smidge. So you're generally audible. It just like gets soft.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm using an
It just completely dropped again.
Okay.
It's okay.
What is causing?
Kristen's in a car, so you know what?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
It's because I have the power of Bluetooth.
Oh, hang on 1 second. I think I know what it is. Microphone. Is that better now?
Sure.
Sounds good.
All right. Like I said, previous business item, I brought up the topic of the creation of an ethics officer role. Typically speaking, this is something that was implemented at the board level for Anime Nebraska, and per previous issues that occurred here at the board, it is just a opportunity to create this position to prevent, conflicts of interest or other issues that if people who are regular staff can bring up to that point, and it's handled that way. It wouldn't necessarily be a committee chair. It could be a position that anyone on the board could take, but it is something that impartial neutrality will need to be done. The only current item I am waiting on is NJAS is still in the process of approving their bylaws. So once I do get those, I will be more than happy to share those.
I am all for it.
Yeah, I
I'll
definitely
note
it.
there's a couple of things that we want to address in that anyway. I know there's discussion about making the treasurer an appointed position over an elected one, so we can just
Yeah.
make sure that as Kim steps back, that we're handing it over to someone who's qualified and trained by her, and not just someone random who gets a lot of votes. Not saying that people don't have good judgment when they have a lot of votes, but treasurer has a lot of skill to it, and people who want it don't always necessarily want to put in the effort to run for it.
It's also direct access to our bank accounts, so I would
Having
prefer
some little-
somebody.
Additional vetting is really helpful there too.
Yeah.
Making it an appointed position also makes it possible to hire a service if necessary. If we don't have a suitable treasurer and someone leaves suddenly, we can at least hire an actual accountant to do those type of things for us, which would be helpful because as of right now, that wouldn't be possible with the way the bylaws are.
Okay, Bruce.
Now, even with it being an appointed position, will the treasurer still retain voting rights as they currently do, or would that change?
No, we would change that.
I would
Yeah,
say
I
it
feel
would
like-
change, yeah.
I feel like the
Yeah.
voting rights role would probably stay with a vice president. If we're
Yeah, it
gonna,
would basically, the thinking was during early discussion on this was to split the currently the treasurer is also the vice president, so split that into two roles.
Oh,
A
okay. So
vice
basically,
president who retains voting rights and a treasurer who is appointed and does not have voting rights.
okay. I did not realize that Kim was sitting in a dual role of vice president and treasurer. Okay.
It's a lot of responsibility for one person.
okay, I believe Allie mentioned she had something to bring up.
That's for later. That's on the agenda.
Oh, it's on my agenda. Oh, okay.
That's on the agenda, yes. So that's for later. I was just keep pointing out that I had that information.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, my bad.
Quick question.
Mhm.
With what Bruce is suggesting, because I think that's like an ethics officer is a great idea and something to coordinate around. Is there ever the possibility that coordinators would have voting rights? What was the purpose or the intended aspect of a coordinator not having voting rights? I'm just curious.
I do not have an answer to that question. Probably has something to do with the way the bylaws are written. Okay, Bruce.
So it is something that, as I'm also currently going through the process of reading. One second. Reading that. It is something we can definitely bring up once we actually go through revising the bylaws, because I see, with the exception of the AD chairman role being a non-voting, because it's similar to how the vice con-chair and con-chair roles at my other Anime Nebraska function within NJIS. I don't see any reason why we couldn't even make the committee members full board member at large unless there's an existing provision.
I think probably the main thing was kind of that separation that we have with the appointed versus elected. The roles that are elected have voting rights, the roles that are appointed don't. And so in the case of coordinators, the coordinators are people who are appointed by the board. So if the coordinators had voting rights, it would be real easy for a rogue board where you have half of them are going crazy to just appoint a bunch of coordinators who all agree with them and will vote with them and just kind of
And I would have to
mess with
say that it
everything.
would have to be like a voted thing, which makes sense because like when I came in, it was just kind of like, yeah, no one's doing this. You want to do this? Sure. So that does make sense, like in terms of like access. So structurally, if it were to be kept as an appointed, then structurally that makes sense.
So one thing that we could look at as well, I actually serve on another board of directors for ECPS, and we do allow the vice chair to step in if we have like ties with voting and stuff. So I definitely think that or not the vice chair, the chairperson they do sometimes help with stuff. Like if we're voting on things and there's a tie, since they're included in each board meeting, we've used them as a resource before since, you know, they're operating at the highest level of the convention, but the the chairperson doesn't necessarily have voting rights. So
and that's also a standard portion of it. So the actual chairperson could, at least in the case that we run things, the chairperson is typically the president / chairman of the board, but at least according to Robert's Rules of Orders, it's whoever's nominated at the meeting for that point. And typically the only time in which the chairperson has a vote is to either tie it so a motion would fail or to actually end a division to allow it to either go the affirmative or the negative. So it's stipulated within there if we adopt RONR as the parliamentary procedure.
Yep. I think that's a good way to break ties.
Yeah, that was one thing I was thinking. It's like for people with voting rights, it's like we generally try to make sure those positions are filled, whereas with the coordinators, they're not always going to be or haven't been anyway. So then it could mess up the numbers. Like I assume you want to try to not have an even number of people. I think that's how it's supposed to work. Not sure. Okay, so if that is all that we have for the open session, let's see. Then our next is planned discussions from scheduled visiting parties. I don't think we have any of those. Doesn't sound like it. So then we've got our lovely coordinator updates from Troy from Anime Detour.
Let's see, pushing towards the finish line on a lot of our deadlines. Let's see, where the largest one is getting things ready for our program guide so that we can do the final proofing on that, get that to the printer so we have enough lead time on them so we can have those ready and delivered. Outside of that, it's a lot of just smaller deadlines on significant items, but that's pretty much a lot of where we're at, is getting things ready for final deadlines, final pieces, putting things into place before actually being on site in that final week. So final deliveries, final coordination between departments, pulling together schedules and things like that. So kind of in that final last 40-ish plus day push, like I think about 42 days or something like that. So that's kind of it, kind of pulling everything together. Simultaneous to starting to put together or continuing to put together for 2025 and beyond. We're always kind of simultaneously plugging in those pieces for other year events as well. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, unless there's other specific questions. That's That's where we're at.
Wonderful. Good to hear from you. Then our next coordinator we have here is our communications coordinator, Brittany.
Hello. I have no official updates. Obviously, per instruction and request, I've just started posting content, aka this meeting, on Facebook and in the Detour staff chats. And going forward, like I'm totally fine promoting this like a week before as a reminder. If there are any initiatives or events, be sure to send them my way. Anything from other orgs that we work with or want to work with, and I can share that content as well. There's likely to be some like big or good content from Anime Detours page that we can share to ATC to kind of like boost that in terms of engagement coming up with a contu. That's all I have.
I know that we need to make sure to remind you when we do, like, I know last year we sponsored that single day event at I forget which library that was.
The little con.
Yes, the mini con.
Yep.
We need to make sure that we're posting that type of stuff because we actually have funded a couple of other small events. I think we're the sole sponsor for that event.
Yeah.
So like we literally gave them their budget. So we want to make sure that when we're doing those things, we're reminding Brittany so she can post about it. Because it's good stuff that we're doing.
And our presence at anything like the Lantern Lighting Festival or the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Anything that we attend as
Yeah.
representatives of the org or awareness in the community just to like share engagement. Because I think a lot of people like follow our pages and they just like don't have anything to do outside of Detour. Well, it's a great opportunity to share like, here's some cool things to do outside of Detour. And some of that could be like, you know, promoting other cons that Detour pairs with, like that I can work with, like Buttons on, like sharing some of their upcoming posts and whatnot. I don't know if our ATC page is following much of anything. So that could be like something that I work on in terms of like accessibility is just getting those pages on the ATC follow as well. And kind of finding their nonprofits, if they have one, that oversee them and following those pages just to like get content out.
That sounds great. Wonderful. Happy to get our social media moving again. So so then our next update would be from finance. So I've got the numbers from Kim here. In the business account, we've got $398,290.24. In the education fund, we have $3,000.01. And in the community fund, we have $14,505.58. And that is all we have from Kim. So next on the agenda would be a 15-minute break, but I would support skipping that since we're going pretty fast. Anyone else?
I will second that motion.
Sounds wonderful. Do we have to vote? You just second it.
We all good with
We're good.
skipping the break? We're good?
Okay.
Let's skip
Sounds
the break.
Great. So now, current month board topics. We've got the UPS box. Ooh, Allie.
Yeah, that was the thing that I mentioned that I had information on. So let me find in my millions of tabs here. There it is. Let me see if I can share this. All right, I believe I'm sharing this. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I just kind of looked up a map of UPS stores that are in the area. I kind of wanted to try to find something that's easy to get to and at least moderately central.
And has parking.
The one that I found that is, of course, the most central is this one right here, which is the one at the Hyatt. So we're going to rule that one out just for the parking situation there.
That makes
Otherwise,
sense.
that would be a wonderfully central location. But kind of the ones that I was really sort of looking at were these two here, 4 and 5. Probably, let's see, 5 I believe is, 5 I think is the one that's closed Sundays, so we want to keep that in mind. Those are both just right off 100 there. We've also got this one over here off 169 at number 9. We've also got like just off 494, number 1. And then if we go north, number 29, that's real close to 100 and 694, and 30 right over here off of 494. And so all of those have weekend hours except for, it looks like Bloomington is closed Sunday. That's number 1. And St. Louis Park, which is number 5, is closed Sunday. I don't think any of these locations have 24-hour access, but I did not feel like calling every single one of them to check. Some locations have that, but none of these had it listed on their specific store page. So that's, as far as locations go, that's kind of our options. These are, of course, to replace the P.O. box so we have a street address so that we can cover everything with that.
Yeah.
I did call the one in Edina, number 4, I think it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, the number 4, so the Edina one off of 100, just to get some additional information from them. So they have 3 different sizes of boxes. That's priced per month, $32 for the small, $40 for the medium, and $50 for the large. If you do 6 months, you get 1 month free. 12 months is 3 months free. So there is an incentive for booking it for longer periods of time, which is nice. Whoever initially sets it up, they just need an ID and a proof of their personal home address. My thinking, when I went through this a while ago too, and it just kind of never went anywhere at that time. But my thinking on that would be we would actually have probably Sky as our treasurer in training / incoming treasurer be the one who actually sets it up, because then it would be on a treasurer bank card that would be active longer than any other card that we might issue.
Yeah.
A lot
And
more
that way we
stable
wouldn't have
than every 2 years.
Yeah, and that way we don't have to deal as much with having to change the card regularly and remember to do that.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah,
That makes sense.
after that, then additional people can get a key for $5 for each additional one. So we could have more than one person with keys to this. And then
I think
it gives us the street address.
I think the Edina location would be good, but I guess would we want to check with Sky? I don't have any idea how far away that would be for them. So
Yeah, well, I was trying to think of places that might be convenient for as many people as possible. So that's kind of why I was looking at that 100 corridor and kind of branching off a little bit off of that, because I know we've got people north, south, kind of central, St. Cloud.
Kristen, Bruce, and I are just the outliers.
Yeah, I didn't really
Yeah.
factor in Kristen and Bruce on this one. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
I'd
if you want to
say
have it in Omaha, by all means you can, but you kind of defeat the purpose.
Be a little confusing.
Yeah, I live in St. Louis Park, Ombre, McCoska, so I live pretty close to 4, 5, and 3.
Yeah, and I'm in Richfield, so like I'm close to 1, 4, 5, 9 myself.
I'm close to none of these.
You're probably closest to 29 and 30.
I'm in Eden Prairie, but I would rather be more central than have it way out in Eden Prairie. It wouldn't make very much sense. So
Yeah, like the current PO box is like way out in Egan, which is not very central at all.
No.
These are all
Only
news to me.
At the time, it
Bernie.
was close to 3 people that were willing to like go to it and pick up content from it. Myself, previous person, and Troy. So it depends on who is like closest and available to it, I would say, and who's responsible for like owning and accessing it.
Yeah. Like I said, in this case, it's real easy for multiple people to get keys. It's just a $5 one-time fee to add an extra key onto it, and you're good.
Cool.
Okay. Yes, Bruce?
In terms of the payment option stuff, is the maximum that you can book out just a year, or are you able to book it for more than that, say 24 or 36 months?
I did not ask that question, but that's a good one. I would.
Because I would say at minimum,
know.
I would do at least minimum of a year, because I would see no point
Yeah.
with 6 months.
We
And
we shouldn't need to move it, yeah.
Yeah.
So if possible, get 2 years, 3 years on the books means one less thing that has to be paid every year. So
Just one less thing to worry about.
The goal would be to probably try to stabilize onto this address.
Yep.
We've had a little bit of flux since we lost the physical location of GPS, so this would just give us a new physical street address that doesn't change up or anything. It's not tied to a specific person. It can be transferred, Sky leaves, we get a new treasurer, we transfer them over to being the primary payment holder for it, kind of a thing. Just makes the whole thing a little smoother.
Yeah, because I think the PO box is up in June or July.
Yeah, so I feel like we'd probably want to.
We should probably try and do it now. So we
we probably want to try to do it sooner so that we can have the time to get everything moved over, even though there's honestly not a ton of mail coming into that PO box. I went to pick up from there again today, and of the 3 things that were in there, one was just Egan bulk mail, and the other 2 were for someone who had previously rented that box.
Because I think most of what we got was group registrations, but correct me if I'm wrong, Troy, that's all switched over to Eventney now?
Yes. Yeah, we would facilitate should anybody want to do it a form through the mail, but I don't know why they want the process to take longer and do a check. So we haven't had that come up yet. So yeah, everything is, because we would have to then manually input it. So yeah, everything is through Eventney now.
Yeah, and in the short time that I've had the key, the only interesting thing I've found was a thank you from one of the libraries that we provide a donation to. Otherwise, it's been bulk mail and stuff for the previous renter.
Okay. Yeah, I would say let's get it done then. The sooner we have like a stable physical address, the better.
Any strong feelings on any of these address or any of these locations?
I like the Edina one, and it'll give me an excuse to go get sushi if I need to go over there for any reason.
There you go.
Can we at least table response from it once we hear back which location would work better for Sky?
Yeah, I feel like we should check with her.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, my target was convenient and centrally located. So like not counting ones like number 3 that's just in the middle of somewhere over here.
Right, but I guess depending on where Sky is located, it could put it more squarely in one direction.
Yep. All right, well let's present options to Sky and we can make a decision from there. So let's maybe target next meeting for making the decision.
I'm down for that.
All right, I'm gonna stop presenting then.
All right. Then the next topic is the ATC/Anime Detour alcohol policy.
Oh yeah.
I thought we resolved that already.
I don't think we voted on it. I made a thing, but we never voted on it. I should actually find that.
Yeah, I think we need to. I feel like you guys talked about it, and it's like, well, we need to actually write something down to be able to add it to a policy.
Yeah,
so if we wrote something down, then we can look at it.
Yes, I was trying to find like the small, after the edits email. I found it. So the proposed changes: alcohol may be provided by ATC for approved events, including the industry mixer and other similar industry events. When alcohol is provided by ATC, no member or attendee under the legal age may take part in consumption of any alcoholic product. Those who choose to consume any alcohol take full responsibility for the consumption and their own actions. Further policies and limitations surrounding events where alcohol is provided will be under the scope of the coordinator running said event. This way, just to ensure, like, for things of like the industry mixer, coordinators such as Troy do have, what is the word I'm looking for? Scope under their own, over their own event. And he doesn't have to, come to us and go, well, can I do this?
Yeah, or should in the future there be additional events added, or other coordinators add additional events of some sort where it is a more adult leaning event, sake testing or something of that nature. But also, like we've talked about, something if we're doing something with one of our partner cons away from our event, something like that.
Autonomy, that was the word I was looking for.
As a non-voting member, but somebody who it affects, under Button's other hat as a department head of stuff, ambassador con and a participant away, but as a coordinator, I have no issues with that verbiage.
Yes, it sounded good to me. I'm not sure of the correct terminology to use, so bear with me. I put forward a motion to vote on approving that policy.
Second.
Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, all opposed. I don't think we have anyone else. So that policy is approved. So that means we need to get that updated on the website, which I don't know if we've done in a while. Yeah. Well, that should be a thing. It's just like how, Nick, you put in the notes. It's just a different spot that you put the policies in. It doesn't look like we've added a new one since 2021, though. So we'll have to see how
And
well that
update
works.
on the website. I will get that email sent out as soon as this meeting is done, and then hopefully, depending on when Kevin or whomever replies back, hopefully have it done sooner rather than later.
Lovely. Buttons, can you please email everyone your policy thing so we can just copy
Yay.
paste that? That would be
I
wonderful.
gotta find it again. Why did I click away from it? Why do I do things?
Why did I close that tab?
Yeah, hopefully I can just add that then into the website, because I think it's on the same page and I'm logged in as an admin as when I add in the
Yes.
board notes. So
Yes, I was a secretary 500 years ago, so I can how that works.
Been 84 years.
Okay. I lost my agenda tab. Oh, because I clicked over to policies. Okay. All right. So that is the last thing we have on for this month. For future months, we have something that I put in there. Coordinator consolidation discussion, just because we've had so many open roles for so long.
Yeah.
And then the bylaws update. I figure we should maybe just wait until not the month right after con, because we might just want to decompress a little bit. But if we end up just changing our mind and moving that up to April, we probably can. I don't know right now. We'll see how
I will have time right after con to assist with more coordinator content and like trying to get other people to like fulfill the roles and like maybe redescribe or redefine those roles. Like in terms of like committed parties, like I volunteer time to like assist if there's at least one other person willing to like talk or meet or organize that. I'll be moving across the country, but I will have lots of time away from all my friends. So
I'm always going
Brittany!
And then just a general question: when is actual terms up for people? Because I know mine's up this time. I don't think is it summer or what? Is there an exact date?
I believe it's the first board meeting after our official event, which is Anime Detour.
Okay.
But I would double check the bylaws for how it's written.
Okay. So April.
So we're gonna have to set up an election and all that stuff too. So
Woo!
yay!
Oh man, my term's up too.
Yeah, nothing like a 3-4.
Mine
Unacceptable.
Mine will be after Tanya.
Freedom.
No, you're coming back.
You're gonna write me in if I don't run.
Okay. All right, I think that is everything then. I don't see anything in chat. So I believe we should be good to call the meeting. What is the right word? Someone tell
Adjourn.
me. Adjourn, that's it. I woke up with a
Words
cold
are
this
hard
morning,
today.
by the way.
All right.
Yeah, I had a cold today.
Every day is like that.
All right. So I vote
I'll
to
vote to
adjourn
adjourn
the
then.
meeting.
Okay.
Anyone else want
Second.
to go home? Lovely. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Bye.